We need it. Oxygen. It's why we breathe.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Small Biz Stories. And you know me, your host, Dr. LL. And every week we bring you just absolutely exciting guests from the five corners of the planet. And everybody does all kinds of cool things as entrepreneurs, as small business owners. And they're here to share their advice for you, the small business owners and entrepreneurs who are thinking, if only I knew somebody who knew how to do what. Well, today we've got our what in How to Generate Leads Under Pressure and Without Losing Your Mind by Brandon Willington, who is the founder of whereyou.com. Hi, Brandon. Welcome to the show.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
And we've got a little bit of a lag going on because, we've got thunderstorms in the area here and some issues and all kinds of internet instability, but we're going to work through it. So, Brandon, I always like to paint the picture for the people that don't have the visual experience in our show that they're dialing in iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, whatever that they're coming in from. Give our listeners a picture of, okay, who you are, where you are. Give us a sense.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Brandon Willington. I'm all the way over in Perth, Western Australia, which I think I've learnt the other week that it's the most isolated city in the world. But if anyone's a small business owner, particularly in Australia, because I spend about $4,000 a day just hammering business owners with ads for our With You program. It's quite funny. I get recognized quite a bit on the street or at business networking events. Like, hey, you're the guy that keeps swearing at me whenever I open my Instagram newsfeed. What I do is I help small to medium-sized business owners generate their own leads so they're never dependent on an agency or a freelancer. Because frankly, the business owner, especially in the small to medium-sized kind of businesses, is the best person to be doing the marketing because they understand their customer better than anyone else. Because more often than not, they're doing either all or the majority of the sales, and they're probably the most customer facing. And understanding your customer trumps any dorky nerd marketing shit you can do on the internet.
And isn't that the truth, right? I know so many people, myself included, we've spent, actually, let's not use the word spent, wasted tens of thousands of dollars in many, many multiples saying like, oh, this one says, click here and guaranteed we'll show you the formula. This is how you go viral. This is the da-da-da.
Yeah.
We'll call it. And you're like, really?
Yeah. 100%. I think like at least 90% of the people that have been for our With You program have been burnt by an agency or a freelancer in the past.
Why is that? Why do you think, I'm going to change the view here so we've got this closer up. Why do you think it is that so many people are getting burned? We're generally an intelligent group who is pretty sophisticated. We've got all kinds of tools from generative AI to just general research tools to say, or Capterra, these things that, this solution is better than this solution. And we like to think we make informed decisions, yet we've all lost money. No.
There's a number of different reasons. I actually posted a YouTube video about this. Like, I just went on a little bit of a 25 minute rant. I go, these are all the things your agency doesn't want you to know. For example, okay, let me rattle off a couple quick ones and then I might zoom in on one of them. So one of the ways that agencies are really ineffective is simply the communication lag. So let's say, for example, this is, okay, well, for those just listening, my hand over here is your business and my hand over here is the agency. There is simply just this communication lag where they request something, they review it, then it goes back and forth, and this communication lag is really what blows out a lot of the timelines and the results get really, really slow. That's why the onboarding process takes like 2 months. Now, there's not only that, a lot of agencies will have the ad specialist, or what they'll do is they'll have, what do they fucking call them? Sorry, am I allowed to swear? I swear a lot in Australia.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to be
no, it's like,
your
go,
show.
go, yeah, bomb away. Yeah.
So what they'll usually have is they'll have someone called an account manager. Now, the account manager is essentially just a salesperson, and their responsibility is be the messenger owl to translate what the ad specialist says, the person actually doing the clicking and typing, and explain in plain English to the client. So now the client sends something to the account manager says something to the ad specialist says something to the account manager, messenger sends it back to the client. Now, we all played Chinese whispers in like year 3, and no one has learnt that there's communication lag. Right? So there's all that going on. So not only is there a quantitative delay in communication, there's a qualitative decay as well. One of the other things that will happen is typically the wages to revenue ratios of actual done for you agencies aren't fantastic. And so what that means is typically in a standard, let's say just ballpark average agency, ad specialist might have 15 to 20 clients. And so what that means is on top of your account, they're managing 14 others probably. And so they just simply can't focus on your account as much as they would like to. Lauren, are you still there? It's just a little bit.
I'm still here. I know. I think we're going to have some issues here and there. We're going to do all that we can.
That's all good. What are some other reasons why it doesn't work as well? And so, yeah, essentially what happens is when you first go to an agency, you'll be with a senior account manager that will get things going up into the green. And then they'll go, okay, cool. I need to go to the next client that's getting onboarded. And then you'll get handed off to a junior account manager. And that junior account manager will just waste all of your fucking money. And then to stop you from churning, the senior account manager, yeah, what's that?
And time.
Because
they're constantly checking in. Oh, just checking in, da-da-da-da. Yeah, right?
Yep. And then the senior account manager will come back to stop you from churning so that they're not below like 8% churn. And then most of these agencies will just do this churn and burn thing. And then what they'll also do is they'll lock you into some like 12-month contract because like, oh, it takes like 2 months to like exit the learning phase. No, it fucking doesn't. Facebook has 52,000 unique points of data on every single user on Earth. It's essentially alien technology when it comes to predicting human behavior. It doesn't take 2 months to learn. It doesn't take 2 months to get data. I do a thing called Chadvertising. It's what I teach to small business owners is because the small business owners who are incredibly time poor. Right? You're trying to wear 1,000,000,001 hats. We don't have time to do any dorky nerding. Oh, I'm going to split test these 7 different ad sets and these 15 different creatives. It's like, no, firstly, that's not even how advertising works anymore. And you're a fucking nerd if you think that it is. I spend $4,500 a day on average on ads. I have one ad set targeting cold and there's just 16 ads in there. I call it Chadvertising. It's just basic shit done well. And if you just do the basics well, you will always trump some nerd sitting in his mum's basement trying to split test 7 lookalike audiences. The business owner will always win because at the end of the day, marketing is about talking to your customer avatar, and some dork sitting in his mum's basement isn't talking to your customer. Business owner is.
Spot on. We are going to have fun with this podcast. All right, this is what it's all about, right? So we also get into tips on what people should or should not do. So how does the average bear, small business owner, entrepreneur spot the fakes and say, yeah, you know what? I'm not going down this path. The marketing sounds too good to be true. What should they look for? Or what should they, if they see, like run, walk, don't run, right? I mean, run, don't walk.
I'm so anti-guarantee now. I just like if anyone says they guarantee something, it is a band-aid solution to a poor sales process and a poor methodology. It's just like, I just want to get someone in the door because so usually what happens is, here's one of the other things. So SMMA, social media marketing agencies, were just like one of the hot make money online offers since like 2017. And so what that means is so that people can like get their reps in and get some testimonials, they'll just offer guarantees where you don't pay unless you get results. But it's like your $1,000 of ad spend is their first $1,000 of ads they've ever spent money on. They're just trying to use you and your ad spend to try and get their first couple testimonials. And then if it doesn't work out, they'll go, okay, well, I just spent like 10 hours trying to do this thing. I'll just go to the next client and just roll the dice. It's literally just gambling. All right, one of these clients has to work out, and then I'll get a testimonial, and then I'll just talk about that testimonial. I posted an Instagram reel yesterday, and I talked about like, hey, I spent, in the last 6 months, since January 1 to June 30, I spent $500,000 on ads, which is a lie. I spent $499,316.57. A little bit of a lie.
That's
right.
Crazy.
And some of my best performing ads actually open with the negatives of our program. And so skepticism levels I've noticed across the board, regardless of what industry, agencies in particular, are the highest they've ever been, because it's been enough time over the last decade that pretty much everyone has been burnt by at least one ad or something they bought from one ad. They either bought something that was drop shipped and it never delivered, that happened to me, or they bought a course and it was just a lie, right? And so skepticism levels are ultra high. I actually asked everyone in the Melbourne workshop that we ran recently, and I said, hey, just curious guys, when you guys booked your sales call with us, were you extra skeptical because you couldn't find any dirt of me online? And the whole room, like 80 business owners audibly said yes. And I said, why? They said, I couldn't find anything bad on you online. There's no bad reviews. There's no scathing Reddit forums. And so on the thank you page of our booking funnel, there's a video, I think it's 10, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and I just do a loom and I go through all of our worst reviews from our internal NPS scores. And I go, here, one person gave us a 4 out of 10. Here's what they said. 5 people gave us a 5 out of 10. I go all the way, you can see 76% of people gave us a perfect 10 out of 10. But I still talk about the 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s. And they don't even say anything that bad. They're just like, yeah, I'm not that great with tech. It wasn't like Brandon lied to me, you know. And then I have ads that run that actually openly, like, say the hook of the primary text, the very first sentence is, one person did our workshop and gave us 4 out of 10. It's one of our best performing ads. And if you click see more, it goes like 5 people gave us a 5, 6 people gave us a 6 or something like that, all the way through to 76% of people gave us a perfect 10 out of 10. And so in a market, in an economy where skepticism levels are ultra high, I'm finding a lot of strength in the negatives, right? All the people that are avoiding the negatives are just like brushing under the rug, and it's either preventing people getting to the sales calls and they're closing less, or it's drawing out their sales process because people want to do their due diligence. Because everyone's thinking, hey, yeah, all these testimonials are great, but Brandon, how much can you really fuck me on this deal? Like, how bad could it really get, right? And the people that don't address that, like, we had people say, like, yeah, we've had people on sales calls say, yeah, it literally sounded too good to be true. And so we send them that video again to rewatch, or if they probably haven't watched it at that point in time.
Do you think that this is all related to the trend we've seen? Like, so you talk about the skepticism rising. At the start of the pandemic, everybody was like, oh, kumbaya, let's work together, let's figure it out. Wow, we're in this big mess together. And then as we came out of the pandemic, people started being more about themselves, right? Like me. It's the me, myself, and I agenda. And then everybody came out and started hawking something, right? And so now you've got to have your Substack blog, you've got to have your TikTok, you got to have your Instagram, you got to have your YouTube, you got to have your podcast, you got to have your book, you got to blah, 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 right? We're all losing our minds, spreading ourselves so thin like peanut butter across the entire toast, and we can't get there. And now, because all of us have done that, and we've seen the macro influencers, pardon me, go to the micro influencers, and now people just want somebody who tells the frickin' truth. It's so basic.
Yep. There's a lot of points I could talk to about this. I've been rereading Reality Transurfing. Are you into spirituality at all?
Yes, I am actually.
Have you read Reality Transurfing?
No, I haven't.
Should read it. It's a tough read. It's a thick book. I've got it on my bookshelf somewhere over there. And one of the concepts he talks about is pendulums. It's funny. I like taking, I hope you don't mind, I like taking ideas from different kind of genres of thought and philosophy and pulling them into like advertising and things like that.
So do I. I'm totally into it. Let's go.
Yeah. So he speaks about this idea of pendulums, which is essentially a spiritual, let's just say it's groupthink, right? So an example of a pendulum is you go to a sports stadium, everyone on one side of the stadium is going for one team, everyone on the other side of the stadium is going for another team. And even if you're not a fan of the sport, whichever side of the stadium you're on, you'll just start rooting for their team and get pulled into that pendulum. And so there's a larger macroeconomic global pendulum happening where skepticism levels are just ultra high and groupthink. And so we need to address that, right? It's similar and akin to how marketing strategies and tactics come and go like fashion trends. For example, remember in 2000, actually you're in the US, so you're about a year ahead of Australia. So in 2017 here in Australia, webinars were very big. They were very successful. And then enough people had done and attended webinars that they were really, really sick of webinars. So webinars were out. Then lead magnets came in. And everyone's like, oh, lead magnets, give my name, I don't need to rock up to this thing and this fake pre-recorded webinar. And then lead magnets here in Australia anyway stopped performing as well around middle of last year. And then just straight up direct call to action call funnel started working really, really well. Now webinars are kind of coming back in and the pendulum has swung once again. So what do you think I'm doing? I'm doing webinars. I'm doing webinars on top of my call funnels. And eventually we're going to go through this whole cycle all over again.
Until we come back to, let's meet in person, have a drink together and talk about, right? Because that's got to be.
So the same thing happens with product delivery. So, self-paced pre-recorded online courses were doing pretty well, like 2017 to let's say like 2023. And then coming out of COVID, events started doing really well because we've been locked in our bedrooms and our living rooms for 1 year. Didn't see the light of day. Now my workshops do really well. There will come a time in the future where they're like, I'm sick of hanging out with people. I'm sick of hanging out with Brandon. Just give me the online course. And then that will come back in again. Everything just comes and goes in cycles and you can't fight it. You just have to go with it.
Oh, that's just it. Well, I'm actually seeing that here, that we're on the other side of where the events are. I hear a lot of people, particularly the younger folks. So like I'm a Gen X, so I'm a bit older. And the younger folks are saying, like the millennials and the Gen Zs, saying, social energy, like I don't have enough of it. And so I can only use it sparingly. So they're being very selective.
Yeah, my social battery's dead. Yep.
Yes. And what I'm seeing is that when I'm talking to some of these folks, again, they're all entrepreneurs, right? We all come in all shapes, sizes, all the rest of that. And I'm going to these events and they're like, oh, yes, I have to go. I'm like, and it'd be so abrupt. And I'm thinking, was it something I said? They said, no, I allowed exactly 1 hour for this event. That's all that my social energy will allow. And then I need to go. Okay.
There's something else going. Sorry, I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories, but there's something larger going on here where, and I was talking with a mentor of mine. He's actually owns part of one of my companies. And I was talking about, man, TikTok and short form content is the biggest attack on the human psyche ever. So I'll give you an example, right? So back, let's say pre 2020 or 2019, Facebook used to let you optimize for 3-second video views. People's attention spans got so short they changed it to 2. The average view duration on social media in general is 1.8 seconds. Goldfish have memories of 3. We're not doing well, right? And so one of the things you have to be like, that's why people are often surprised. I fucking hate social media. For someone that runs ads on it relentlessly, it's actually frankly very, very difficult to reach me. Like I have, and I'm not going to say what platform because I don't want anyone adding me on it, but I have one messaging platform and the only contacts that have me on there are my girlfriend, my assistant, my personal trainer, and my parents. Because you know how like Instagram, you can either like mute all notifications, right, or you just get all of them, right? You can't filter by, I want notifications to this person, and then so someone just sends you a reel because they're distracted, and they try and pull you into their pendulum, to the distraction pendulum. They try and pull you into the distraction pendulum, so you just aimlessly scroll. And don't get me wrong, I like when people aimlessly scroll because I can serve them ads and they might buy my stuff. But you need to understand the weapons that are being used against you, and then use it for your own good.
Well, we talked about the beginning of the show getting into, where the account relationship, right? And then the like using the telephone in the tunnel and how there's the distortion, not just the quantitative delay, but then there's the qualitative decay. That's what's happening with social media. We've been fed this whole thing where we just have a few seconds, and then now there's all the technology, the ad blockers, this, that. It's getting so hard to get eyeballs. And it's also where YouTube just today I saw crossed 1 billion podcast users. How in the heck do we
Oh
get
wow.
noticed? 1
Yeah,
billion.
it reminds me of. So a lot of people here in Australia, a lot of people know, but I used to be a DJ. So that's how I got into
Yes.
marketing, was I used to work in nightlife and things like that.
I
One of the,
saw a bunch of your videos and how you had a couple of them go viral there. And what do? How
yeah,
do you get the DJs get leads, the pre-events? Yes, I stalked you, of course,
yeah,
before the show.
yeah. Okay, great. You know the backstory then. And it reminds me of like more and more people are becoming DJs. It's just like they just want to do it. So it becomes more and more competitive, right? The only solution to standing out more is that I call it a formula between quantity and quality, right? We need to do more actions which we know drive awareness, get feedback, and so we can improve the quality. And so one of the things that always happens I see is people, okay, so let's say, for example, you want to start a podcast. This can apply for advertising, this can apply to sales, this can apply to anything. You want to start a podcast. You plan for, I mean, not maybe not you, but someone listening, you plan for 6 months what your podcast is going to be, the name, the guests, how it's going to be, the editing style, all this stuff, right? However, the problem is you're a sample size of one. I always like pulling Bayesian statistics. I have a little book called I think it's Bayesian Statistics for Dummies, or no, it's Bayesian Statistics the Fun Way. It explains statistics with little rubber ducks. It's fun, right? And so if you can understand statistics, not only will you get good at advertising, but you'll get very good at predicting human behavior, because I'm pretty dead certain we're in a simulation. And if you can just understand numbers and math and multiplication, you do pretty well at predicting behavior. And so the problem is you're a sample size of one. You also don't know what good actually looks like yet. You won't actually find out what good looks like until you get a statistically significant sample size of data. The only way to get a statistically significant sample size of data is just show your podcast to more people. And then look at so you get quantitative feedback, more listeners. And then you get qualitative feedback. Oh, they liked this episode more. They liked this thumbnail more. They liked this title more. They like this kind of guest more. And then you take that qualitative feedback and then you adjust the quantitative feedback. You do more quantity of the quality which you know works. And then you increase this flywheel. Most people, they get to their, what's the, you might know it, the statistic of how many podcasts like don't get past like the 6th episode or something like that.
I don't know what the number is, but I know a couple of related statistics. I know that tech companies, 92% don't see their first anniversary, which is absolutely huge. And on e-learning, where we are now, we're talking about, where we're talking about courses and things and how that shifted, because I mortgaged my house to build an e-learning platform that no one uses. So been there, got the deed. Anyway, the other statistic that's on that is, on courses, 98% of people don't get beyond chapter 1.
Yep. Yep. I had when I was running my lead magnet funnel, it was for it was only like 30 minutes. It was like a free training video, just the basics of digital advertising for lead generation. I could see the statistics in higher level, like 95% of people didn't even log in.
But they still liked it, right?
Yep. Yeah. There's something else to be said there, because it was free, and you if you just pay money for something, you're just more likely to use it, right? And so, because all I asked for was their name and their email, most people just weren't going to use it.
Well, that's just it. Even with these courses, people are buying them, but they're just not going through them. And then they have the phenomenon with headlines that so many people share something, an article, whatever, through their social media posts. People like it, and they don't even click on the headline to see what the article's about.
Yep, and that's how you get misinformation as well. It's like, I read this headline, I read the news. It's like, no, you didn't. You saw an Instagram carousel. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely bananas. So, okay, so you've given us some thoughts on how to do that, but now in talking to your assistant, I hear there's a little bit of a funny story, maybe not funny, haha, but related to your first online business, because all of us, we try stuff and then we fail. We don't usually hit it out of the park the first time, right? So talk to us about that first business.
So, all right, this is my favorite story. So, because this is why I was excited for this podcast, because no one's asked me this kind of question where it's lead generation under pressure. I'll tell you two. So my very first ever business with one of my best mates, Jackson Brown. He's also a business partner now for a new and substantially more successful business, but I had just gone viral for a mixtape I made in 2017. It was called Literally Fuck Genres. and he was learning about funnels and marketing and stuff like that, and he wanted to start an online business. And so we started this company called the Sound District. It was like music marketing for DJs and producers and stuff like that, right? However, we were both around 22 or 23, and we were local DJs, so we were flat broke. And so I only had enough money in my bank account until I got paid by whatever nightclub owed me money. And because nightclubs, they take ages to pay their DJs, right? So I had enough money to buy the domain name for like $25. And after I bought that, I had $2 left. But we needed ClickFunnels to deliver the product. But ClickFunnels was, I think, 197 or 297 US dollars, which is like 3 or 4 or 500 Australian dollars.
Sure,
something like that. Yeah. I don't have $400. I don't make $400 on the weekend. So what we did, we were like, all right, wait, there's a 14-day free trial though. So what we did was we just built everything really, really quickly and then just pre-sold it to a bunch of people. Like, this is what it's going to be, blah, blah, blah. And when they did that, they got access to week 1. And then I think it was like a 6 or maybe a 12-week program. We just had to stay 1 week ahead of them in terms of making the content. And so we were just pre-sold in, got a bunch of students in for the price that we just had enough money in the bank to actually like pay the ClickFunnels subscription when it would kick in 14 days later, and then just stay 1 week ahead of the students. And it was always really funny because I think there was like 1 or 2 times where we're like a day or 2 late or something. Like, people were like, where's week 5? Things like that. And then the other thing as well was we were like 22 or 23, so don't blame us. We know nothing about corporate finance or money management in general, personally or professionally. And our favorite day, or my favorite day of the week anyway, was Tuesday, because I would drive to Jackson's house, pick Jackson up, we'd drive to the bank, take out all of the money in cash minus like $50, and then I just go buy jeans or sign up to a gym or something like that. And then we're like, wait, ClickFunnels subscription kicks in again in 3 days. And so we've got to do a speed run webinar to get more money in so ClickFunnels doesn't get shut down. I think we nearly went bankrupt, like on a fortnightly basis, because we were just so irresponsible with the money. I'll tell you another one. This is more successful. So I used to have a DJ school, and we grew to have 5 locations in 3 cities across Australia.
That's
and
huge.
the way it
That's
started,
great success.
yeah, the way it started was I used to DJ and be promotions manager at this nightclub called Arcade Nightclub here in Perth, Western Australia. There's a Nando's down the road, and my mate Adam was like, "Oh, you should start like a like the clubs aren't being used during the day. You should start like a DJ school during the day when they're not being used." And I went, "Oh, that's a clever idea." So I got a napkin, I got a pen, and I drew out the funnel. And I still have I have a video about this on my YouTube channel. I still have the screenshots. I messaged the owner of the nightclub, and I was like, "Hey, club's not being used. Something to the effect of the club's not being used during the day. Can I start a DJ school during the day? I need some money for ad spend. If you can front the money for the ad spend, and we'll split the profits 50-50." And he said, "Done." So the next day, I got a videographer in to do. I got a videographer in. And 2 staff members in to do like a mock DJ lesson, film it, and then make an ad. And then I didn't have enough money for like high level or ClickFunnels. I just had this preloaded credit card that the owner gave me with like $500 on it. And then I just ran basic lead form ads, sent it to my email. I just manually downloaded all the leads because I couldn't even afford Zapier Premium or Pro at the time. Added all the contacts to my phone manually and just started calling leads and closing them. And I think we got our first customer in like 2 or 3 days after that. And all it was just like, I got this idea, and then we had like our first customer like 72 hours later.
So is the message, Brandon, it's be scrappy and be persistent?
You had to be scrappy and fight and claw and check the bank account to make sure there's enough money coming in for the subscription. And just, I think this is one of my other bones I have to pick with business owners, where they're like, "Oh, I want to delegate my marketing." I call them click cowards because it's the highest ROI activity you could possibly do, and you want to get someone else to do it for you. You just need to be able to do the basics well, and you'll always, because no one on earth is going to work harder than you when it comes to generating money for the business. There's nothing you can pay an agency that will incentivize them more than you to look at the ads, build the ads, refine things, because at the end of the day, all the money's hitting your bank account, all the ad spend's leaving your bank account as well.
Exactly. So if we think about this, and everybody's still going down the path, do you think that the trend is, with all of these tech and AI digital marketing tools, that entrepreneurs are doing more DIY? Also, because of the skepticism, everybody's been burned by all these promises. So do you think we're on the path of DIY, or do you think we're shifting to just total dependence on AI and everybody else to get it done for us? This whole set it and forget it, right? Mentality. Which trend, or which path are we going on?
I think there's a third path, which is there's going to be a combination of AI, which will make agencies, at least done for you agencies, mostly redundant. I'm noticing more and more business owners are getting clued into the fact that these agencies aren't doing particularly well, even when they use AI. And I could probably do a better job myself. And then they try to do a better job themselves, and they do. like the number of
Imagine
times
that.
I've had business owners like, I didn't get any leads from my other agency. We had Chase, he spent like $850 and made like, I think $100,000 off of it. Like we actually have a problem. I posted about this on my Instagram story yesterday. I have a problem, an increasing problem. I'm noticing a trend in the comments where more and more people are commenting saying, on the testimonial ad, saying, this is a lie, those numbers are outrageous. And tagging like the Australian Consumer Affairs Facebook page. And I'm like, I don't fucking blame them. I wouldn't believe it either. When all the results you're accustomed to are sub-mediocre. When anyone does slightly well, I'd be skeptical too.
That's it, right? We're on that path, but it's, how do we get away from it all, right? Is there one thing that we should do? Because again, we're talking about the state of overwhelm, right? For lead generation. Oh, I got my magnets, right? I've got my digital assets download, and then my nurture sequence of email. Oh, and then I've got my webinar, and oh, I've got my in-person workshop. Let's have coffee or drinks and talk about whatever. Let's do this. So I got my Substack. I got my book coming out on Amazon. And of course, I'm a best-selling author for the microsecond that I launched, right? My book.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
capture it and you're a best-selling author. What do we do, Brandon? What do we do on lead generation under pressure?
The solution is the solution is, as I've been preaching my entire life, is Chadvertising. It's just doing a few things, the few basics, well and consistently. People are always often surprised when I log into my ad account. There's one campaign live. I'm dumping $4.5 on it. There's one ad set and 16 ads. That's all I'm doing. And I break it down into 3 C's, right? It's clicks from the right person, landing pages that convert, and conversations that close, right? If you just do those 3 things, you grow online with ads. You don't need this like messenger bot hack over here. You don't need like this thing over here. You just need like one thing. Someone asked me, because I'm starting to post more and more organic content, and they're like, oh, is someone seeing the benefit in posting organic content? I'm like, no, it's my ads are working so well that I'm fucking bored. I have so much free time that I just had to fill the time with something. I'm bored. That's why I'm shit posting on my Instagram.
Wow. Most of us are not in that position. And then when I look at ads and the ad spend, what I'm hearing from other Google advertising, other experts, that if you're not spending, never mind 4,000 a day, but a minimum of $4,000 per month, you're not going to get the click ratios that you need. Is that true? Is that false? I mean, what are you seeing on patterns with respect
That's a
to
fucking
minimum
lie.
spending?
Psy-up campaign. That's exactly what your agency wants you to think. That's a lie. I always just tell my members to start with like 30 or $50 a day. The reason I say that as well is obviously the more you spend, the faster you get feedback and you'll learn and things
Fair.
like that. But I say
Yeah.
$30 to $50 a day as a beginner is fast enough you can see results, usually like the next day sometimes, but slow enough that like as a beginner you can keep up with it. It's not like you're spending $100 a day, 7 days goes by, and you've just potentially lost $700, right? It's kind of like, I was 50-50 on giving this example, but it's a bit like gambling. The first time you go to the table, like, I'll bet like $20, and then you get some feedback, all right, 50. And then like, if you got a problem, like, all right, all in, right? And so you need to start at a pace that you can keep up with. And like, we've got members now that are like spending like $500 a day, right? but they slowly increase it, and then you got to take into account like capacity and things like that as well. But no, you don't need to spend like minimum for. The reason they say it needs to be $4,000 a month is because with their agency fees, they need you to have a minimum spend so that their retainer and onboarding fee could potentially be profitable. That's why.
Gotcha. That makes more sense because but it's a number I said I've consistently heard, and so I wanted to throw it out there and say, what have you heard, right? Because this is your space, your lane. And,
None of my competitors like me.
it's okay, right? I mean, everybody's got their different thing, and that's all about how do you stand out, right? Like you've given us a couple examples already by painting the negative picture, which is the truth, and that's what people want anyway. When they say authentic, well, don't call you out for not being authentic, because here it is, here's the samples. But what I'm curious, I want to go back to the DJ school and all of that. So you were successful, multiple locations, 5 locations, 3 cities. Why, or did you stop with that and move fully into this? So talk to us about that transition.
So the problem I actually had was, so the analogy I use is DJ schools are a bit like having a local cafe. As long as you have consistent foot traffic, because it's limited to a geographical area, you'll make decent money. Also, it's easy to run. It's easy to find instructors. However, you can't massively scale it. I actually had a problem. The only reason I had to have locations in Adelaide and Sydney were because I just tapped out the Perth market. Anyone that had even considered becoming a DJ had seen my ads too many times. And so what I actually had to do was turn my ads off for a year, operate in 2 other cities, and wait for new people to turn 18. That was actually the problem that I had. I just rinsed the market. I found the market cap. And I was like, well, I want to make more money. So then I was focusing on the agency. And the other thing as well, the more... I've been mostly cold and angry this cold, but the more warm-hearted side of me was one of my massive motivations for running the DJ school was I started it in September 2019. And what happened in March 2020? All the nightclubs shut down.
Yeah.
All the nightclubs shut down. And overnight, all of my best mates that I've been friends with for years lost their jobs. Some of them had to go work FIFO. Some of them had to go work at delis and stuff like that. And I went, oh, fuck it. I can make you jobs. The regulations here in Perth allowed us to have 2 people in the same room at the same time. So talking to the nightclubs, I also was paying the nightclubs. Nightclubs, what was happening to them? No patrons. And so I'm the only person that can come in and say, I can give you jobs and I can give you rent. It's a little bit, but it will help. And so that was my massive motivation. I shut it in 2021, 2022, because one, like selfishly, I was like, well, I want to make more money and this thing's not that scalable. And 2, the nightclub's open again and all my mates got their jobs again. And so I didn't feel obligated to help provide. That was one of the massive reasons. And but again, I want to make it very clear personally, like it just wasn't that scalable. I nearly got roped back into starting another DJ school, I think 2 or 3 years ago. And I nearly did. And I told them, I went, wait, juice isn't worth the squeeze. Like this might make $110,000 a month. Oh, sorry, a year. And I'm like, I got a thing that could make a lot more than that. I'm just going to focus on something to do a lot more.
And so,
oh, actually, I actually do have. It's not a DJ school, but I have it online with Jackson. So Industry Set is one of my other companies that does well, and it's because it's online, so we can target the US, Australia, Canada, the UK, because it's massively scalable in that sense. We can consistently just like, do you have a Wi-Fi connection and want to learn how to make music? We can scale it that way. It's not limited to a geographical area. So I haven't completely left that space, but the model's certainly changed and it's a different entity entirely.
well, that's fun. And so, what are the things that, like, what are those metrics that you get when you say, like, oh, I was bored with this, this wasn't scalable, this wasn't, because as entrepreneurs, everybody has to pivot. And it might be a pivot because you're not making enough, you're not making anything at all. So you've got to make these changes. You got some market driver that changed, like, oh, for example, COVID, the nightclubs closed. So what do? You've got to respond. What do you use as your internal compass to say, yeah, I'm stuck with it, I'm bored with this, I'm doing that? Like, give us a little thought behind your thought process.
I'm going to give you a little more of a vibes answer. So I think that the answer that you're actually looking for is a quantitative metric. Like, what kind of like total addressable market am I looking for? What kind of like, the market, is that kind of what you look? Oh, okay. Because
I'm not on that quantitative. It's like because it is about a feeling. When you get to that, where you're like,
yep,
I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
said, oh,
So
I'm bored with that. So I'm creating organic content.
Yeah, I think it's either Japanese or Chinese. It's a concept called ikigai.
Yeah, Japanese. Ikigai.
Ikigai. Is it Ikigai?
Ikigai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is it? Could you remind me? So it's the triple intersection of what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at.
That
Something to
isn't
that effect?
Ikigai. No, the philosophy of Ikigai is finding harmony and balance where you have relationships and family, where you have whole health, you eat only until you're satiated, you get rest and you take care of your body, you take care of others, you find meaning and value in the things
Hmm.
that you do. It's that, I guess,
Yeah,
continuum.
that sounds similar to what I'm talking about. I always saw like this. Yeah, I always saw this like triple intersection Venn diagram that explained it. Maybe we're talking about the same thing. Maybe it's under the same philosophy. But one of the things that I always like to look for is what was I already doing anyway without being incentivized. And so for me personally, I have always spent a lot of time and money trying to educate myself. And so educating others and talking and educating others was also just a byproduct of that. Because I like to take what I learn and teach it to others. And so I always had a lot of resistance to it done for I was even working. I liked being able to explain what we do, talk to others, lecture. I think it also, like, if we talk about nature versus nurture, because I was a DJ in the past, I was always rewarded for being the center of attention. I was doing it in my early 20s. And so for me personally, like, I was always already enjoying doing this anyway. And so I was like, okay, we'll just do more of that. Some ways you can, I learned from, I did Sam Alvin's course back in the OG course back in 2018. I always remember one of his exercises was look at your bank feeds and see what you spend money on. Because where your money goes, your energy and your attention goes as well. I spent a lot of money on education. I've got like 6 or 7 coaches going at the same time right now. I'm kind of a slut for a good coaching program.
Well, and what do you think about coaching? I mean, like from learning, as far as, what's the best modality to
I
learn?
I I am a oh sorry, I think you froze a little bit.
Yeah, we'll give it a sec. Give it a sec. Hold on.
That's right.
You can see when the zoom's going yellow and red, like in the little zoom bars, like, and it's gone red a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah.
times. So okay, so let's go again. So Brandon, what's the best way to learn? You talk about coaches being coached. A lot of people are looking for the magic pill. Right now, we know it is possible.
Hmm.
Hey, you can lose weight with Ozempic and all these other things. So, what do people look for? Should they get a coach? Should they get a mentor? Should they just go and get an e-learning course, watch YouTube? What do you think the best way for people to learn?
So you're going on a little bit of a journey, right? So when you're new to a concept, I would just get the information that's freely available to you. I would just start making searches on YouTube and influencing your YouTube algorithm to start suggesting more stuff like that. Because at that point in time, you don't know anything. So knowing anything at all is an improvement. Eventually, what happens is you hit a point of diminishing returns with, let's say, pre-recorded or pre-written, i.e. videos or books. You hit a point of diminishing returns with pre-recorded or pre-written material. And so, for example, you remember the first time you read like the first 5 business books you read? Everything was
Yeah.
new, right? And then you read more and more and more, and they all become slight iterations of each other, and you're trying to find 5 pages which are new content. Then you hit a point of diminishing returns. That's the point where I think getting a coach or a mentor is appropriate because they can start personalizing. Okay, you know this, this, and this, but you don't know about this over here. And if you can just unlock that, that's a massive point of leverage, right? It gets more and more expensive, frankly, because as you ascend the ladder of knowledge, the tiny 1% of stuff that you don't know, there's just less and less people that know that. And so it's just a market of supply and demand, right? There's less people that know about this thing. And so you pay more for it, right? I would have been happy paying for, when I was paying for coaching programs in the past, they were like, I don't know, a couple $100 a month. Now it's like one of my coaches is like 5 grand a month. And I talk to him for like half an hour twice a month or something like that, right? Or another one's like 4 grand. I talked to him for an hour, but that hour is worth the 4 grand because I probably make 40 on the back end of it, right? So there's this point where you hit diminishing returns and there's less and less people that can actually help you. But I'm a massive encourager for people to get more and more coaches. Like I nearly lost a game of chess to my friend once. Not lost, nearly lost. You know what I did? I went on Fiverr, I searched chess coach, and I got an online chess coach from France, just so it wouldn't ever happen again.
Yeah, you don't sound like somebody who accepts losing very well. No.
No, I don't think I give off that vibe.
No, no, didn't get that from you. And as we're getting close here to the end of our show, what would you like to share with our audience? Like we've gone through a lot of things about your thoughts on we focused on continuous learning, trying not believe all of the crap and hype out there, go learn for yourself, really dig in and embrace skepticism, right? It can be a good thing. It might save you some consternation and some money loss if you get into it. What else do you want to tell our audience?
My massive enemy is what I refer to as enablers. So, regardless what you're trying to get better at, whether it's marketing, sales, business, personal development, anything, there is always going to be a voice. It could be a person, it could be an idea, it could be a concept, it could be a pendulum, referring back to that book that I was speaking about earlier, that is going to enable you. For example, marketing agencies will enable you and go, oh, no, you don't need to do the marketing. You should focus on what you're best at. Let us do the marketing. And you, as a clever business owner, or perhaps clever, perhaps not, you go, yes, delegate. I should delegate this to someone else. Rather than logging into an interface, which in the first 5 minutes looks scary, and you close the tab and you don't ever want to do it again. You go, I'm clearly not good at this. I'm going to delegate it. It's the akin to going to a gym and getting a personal trainer, and you don't work out. You just watch the personal trainer do it, and you don't get any muscles. Your bank account just goes down, right? There's a number of people that are going to enable you, whether it's agencies, whether it's ideas, concepts. There's always going to be a voice which tells you, no, you can do this easier thing instead. However, the easy path is, regardless of whether it's just advertising or you're trying to David Goggins something and do a marathon, it's always not going to get you any results. Resistance and psychological pain or physical pain, perhaps, if you're going to the gym, is always a symptom to growth.
Absolutely. And that's why I think people have to learn by doing. You've got to go through it. And I always tell everybody that I mentor, it's okay to spin, try things, but I don't want you to spin for a long time. Do a cycle. So try it out, learn, grow, figure it out, refine. And then if you're going to stuck and keep spinning, let's talk. Let's stop the spin so you don't, go into the downward spiral. But you got to do one cycle, one loop to learn. I'm all for it. And you're thinking about other books and things. One of the ones that I just found in my bookshelf, again, read it a long time ago, Spiritual Audacity. And it's an interesting perspective and journey on how people look at the combination of everything from science to real experiences to faith and that whole intersection, right? How it all sort of comes together. And so it's an interesting story. So I think you might like it, just getting your vibe here.
Spiritual Audacity, the Abraham Joshua Heschel story?
Yes.
Cool. Getting that.
It's a little bit of an out there read, maybe, but I don't know.
I do like
think
a good
it's
out
good to
there read.
expand your mind, right? Because you want to figure out, like you said, how you stitch it all in and layer it in different ways. Because if everybody's reading the same books, right, all of the time, and you're doing the same thing, and here's the, like you said, go high level, here's the click funnel, here's the thing, here's the recipe for that, like, then everybody descends into sameness, and you'll never stand out. So that's not going to work.
Actually, that's one of the things I tell people to do when they were in love with reading and they fell out of love with reading, is go to a specialist bookstore and just go to a weird section. Just close your eyes and just pick a random book out, because then the novelty of it being new will make it exciting again. Like I read like engineering and programming books. Not an engineer. Parents wish I was, or at least they wished I was when I was in high school. I was a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, the very first president of Australia. I dropped out, became a DJ. And then, so I'll read books on like...
the same. Right.
And then reading a weird book and going, I can apply that to this over here. For example, talking about spirituality and bringing it into marketing.
Well, it is to all layered in, and I see the book within reach, so I'm going to do like a reach for 1 second here. So I'm really getting into the graphic novels, and this one,
really?
like free speech. And it's called Free Speech. It's all about, these are examples of real cases in the United States of everything from this woman who gave the middle finger to Trump in his first presidential run. And it has like uses of the words, like selective cuss words and how they've been used or shouldn't be used in schools and how people have been reprimanded. And it's all of these like graphic illustrations. Cool. And some are fun, some are like kind of weird and explanations. Right, they are. It's really clever. And then I think the font is micro font. I have to wear my special cheater reader glasses to see it. But it just helped
Yeah,
encapsulate
I'm losing
things
my
in a
sight at
different way for
29.
me. So I loved it.
Mm.
Anyway, just I think it's good to read and have different
I've just
things. But
Googled it. I've got the
okay, well, there you
definition
go.
here.
So you've got that. So
On Amazon.
where, Brandon, can people find you? How can they find you? Now, we know you keep your personal coordinates private, then that's okay. But how can they find you online in your business and what you do and learn from you?
If you're in Australia, just open Instagram. You'll see me. Don't worry about it. But if you're in the US, our Instagram is just whereyou.com.au. It's only following one account, which is me. So if you want to find my personal one, which I post on there, you can find that there as well. Or just whereyou.com.au. We're easy to find.
I know, but I like to have people say it, right? So they can find it. Of course, that'll be in the notes section and all the rest of that
That's
sort
all
of
right.
good stuff. Last question. It is our signature question because this has been a blast. I've had a lot of fun doing this. I always ask people if we could look into your closet and there's footwear, accessories, clothes, something in there that personifies who you are, Brandon Willington. What are we looking at
Sorry, you
and
kind of
why?
cut out. What could you just?
Oh,
Could you
of
just?
course I
Yeah.
cut out. So
Sorry.
we go into people's
The last
closets
question. I was so
virtually.
excited.
I know, it's like, ah, darn it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Talk to us about some footwear, a boots, a shoes, a clothing, an accessory, something that personifies who you are. And when you wear that thing, it's like, yeah, that's my personality to a T. Why?
Black t-shirt. I actually, this is interesting. This is another spiritual thing as well, right? So, as a DJ, I always wore black long line t-shirts. I never tucked them in. One of the things I've been working on recently, so I quit drinking 6 weeks ago. I used to drink heavily, like 4 or 5 nights a week, right?
Congrats, that's
And
big.
I've tried to stop in the past, but the thing is, and I was going to post about this on YouTube, is to-do lists and habit trackers are a little bit like a band-aid solution to a bigger problem. What you actually need to do is change your identity. And so there's a lot of things I did, like journaling and things like that, but one of the things I did was I just got slightly different. They're actually a little bit heavier shirts, and now I just tuck them in and wear a belt. That's all I changed. And it felt like a slightly different uniform in the morning.
It's amazing what that can do, right? Just how it changes your perception of yourself and then how others
Yep.
see you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I I teach some of that in our executive presence class. We get guys that are like, well, I like being untucked. I'm like, just tuck it in and put a belt on. Like, I'm not
Yep.
saying go buy a suit. Like you
That's
don't
it.
have to.
Just
It'll
slightly
be
heavier
okay,
shirt, so
right?
it feels like armor. What are you doing, Mango? Sorry, my
Yeah.
cat's just. I
Oh,
don't know
hello,
what's
kitty
going
cat.
on. What are you doing, Mango?
I've got my baby over here.
I've got two. There's another cat in another
Oh,
room somewhere.
so with that, Brandon Willington, whereyou.com.au, thank you for joining us all the way from Perth, the land down under, from us up here in New Jersey, right? What a contrast. It's been a lot of fun having you on the show. Thank you so much for all your tips and insights.
Thank you very much.
And how about that fantastic intro by Touch Circle?